Amelia, that's my name. I'm 103 years old, and I've outlived most of my doctors. Funny thing to say out loud, isn't it? They spent years telling me what not to eat, what would clog my arteries, what would shorten my life, what I should fear every time I sat down at the table. I listened, at first. You do when you're young. You think they know something you don't. But somewhere along the way I stopped being afraid, and I just kept living. You have to understand I didn't get here because I followed a plan. There was no diet, no system, just a long life full of meals I remember better than most days. I remember butter first. Real butter, not the pale, soft stuff they sell now in plastic tubs. No, I mean the kind that came from a cow you could point at. I grew up in Pennsylvania, small place. My mother used to churn butter in the kitchen, wooden churn, slow and steady. I can still hear that sound if I close my eyes, that thick, sloshing rhythm. I'd sit there as a girl, watching, waiting, and when it was ready, she'd spread it thick over warm bread, still steaming, and it would melt right through, drip down your fingers if you weren't careful. We didn't think about health back then. We thought about taste, about fullness, about enough. Years later, I remember a doctor, must have been the 60s, telling me very serious, "Amelia, you need to stop eating butter." Said it like a warning. I nodded, went home, made toast, and used butter anyway. Not out of rebellion, just it didn't make sense to me to fear something that had fed my whole family for generations. Eggs were the same. We had chickens in the yard, not many, just enough. Cold mornings I'd step outside, still in my slippers, reach under those hens and feel the warmth of the eggs in my hand. Fresh, almost alive. You crack an egg like that into a pan, it's different. The yolk sits high, bright, almost orange, not flat, not tired. During the war, things were scarce. Sugar, meat, all rationed. But we had eggs, and I remember thinking even then how lucky we were. I'd fry them in butter, always butter, and eat them slow, standing by the stove. That was breakfast. Simple. Enough. Later on, they started saying eggs were dangerous. Cholesterol, heart trouble, all those words. I heard it, I just didn't feel it, so I kept eating them, and somehow my heart kept beating. Red meat. Now that's the one people really don't like to hear about. My father was a butcher. Good one, too. Knew his cuts, respected the animal. There was nothing careless about it. Sundays he'd bring home something special, a roast or thick steaks. My mother would cook it slow. The whole house would fill with that smell. Warm, rich. It stayed in the walls. I remember one night in particular, 1946, just after the war ended. My husband, well, he wasn't my husband yet, took me out to a restaurant in the city. First real dinner we ever had together. He ordered steak, didn't even ask me. When it came, I cut into it and the juice just ran across the plate. I took a bite and thought, oh, so this is what a future tastes like. We didn't talk much that night, didn't need to. He's been gone a long time now. Strange the things that stay with you. Not the arguments, not the hard days, just a bite of steak, a warm kitchen, the sound of someone you loved sitting across from you. These days, people talk about food like it's a threat. Every bite comes with a warning. Back then, it wasn't like that. Food was just part of being alive. And I kept eating that way all through the years, through loss, through change, through everything that came and went. And I noticed something, slowly. It wasn't the people who ate butter or eggs or meat who disappeared early. No, it was something else, something quieter, something people don't talk about much anymore. You start to see it when you live this long. It's not sudden, not like people think. It's quiet. People don't just die. They slowly step away from living. I saw it during the hard years. Times when there wasn't much to go around. That's when potatoes mattered. Not in some fancy way, just simple. Boiled mostly. Sometimes mashed if we had a little milk. A little butter if we were lucky. I remember standing in that same kitchen, steam rising from a pot, windows fogged up from the heat. My mother moving slow, careful, making something out of almost nothing. We didn't complain. We ate what was there, and somehow it was enough. You sit down with a bowl of potatoes when you're truly hungry, not bored, not distracted, really hungry. It tastes different, warmer, closer to something you can't quite name. Years later, when things got easier, people started turning away from food like that. Said it was too simple, too heavy, too many carbs. Funny word that, carbs. We never had a word for it. We just had dinner. Even now, I still make potatoes sometimes. Not every day. I don't need much anymore. But every now and then, I peel one slow, same way my mother did. Boil it, add a little butter, sit down at the table. Quiet. It fills the room in a way, not with noise, but with memory. After my husband passed, that quiet got louder. You don't notice how much space a person takes up until they're gone. His chair stayed where it was for years. I couldn't move it, didn't want to. So I kept cooking, small things, simple things. Not because I was hungry, because it felt like continuing something. Like if I stopped, everything else would stop too. Chocolate came later, not as a necessity, as something I chose. Dark chocolate, the real kind. Bitter at first, then it softens. I started eating it in my 40s, just one piece after lunch, every day. Didn't matter what was happening, good day, bad day. Didn't matter who was still around or who wasn't. I'd sit down, break off a square, and just let it melt. Slow, no rush. That was my moment. Mine. No one told me to do it. No one said it was good for me. I just liked it, and I never stopped. That's the thing people don't understand. They think living a long life is about cutting things out, taking things away. No butter, no salt, no joy. Always adjusting, always afraid. But what I've seen over and over again, it's not what people eat that wears them down. It's how they live. It's the fear, the constant watching, measuring, worrying. That kind of life, it shrinks you, little by little, until one day there's not much left. I knew people who followed every rule, ate perfectly, did everything right, and still they were the ones who faded early. Not all at once, just slowly, like they had already decided they were done. Me? I kept my routines, simple things, morning coffee, a proper meal, that piece of chocolate. Even when the house got quiet, I kept showing up for those moments because they were still mine. And as long as I could taste something, enjoy something, remember something, I was still here. People today, they're afraid of everything. Food, aging, time itself, always trying to control it, fix it, outrun it. But fear does something strange. It doesn't protect you. It just makes your world smaller and smaller until there's nothing left to enjoy. I never tried to live forever. I just never stopped living. Tell me something. What's one thing you still love to eat, but feel like you shouldn't?